In 2018, revelations that Oxfam workers, including their Chief of Operations Manager and other senior employees, allegedly paid for prostitutes in Haiti while the charity was there, supporting survivors of the 2011 earthquake. This is completely against the Humanitarian Code of Conduct, which does not allow the exploitation of sex workers. To try and minimise the impact of this scandal, Oxfam conducted an internal investigation which found no evidence of prostitution use. However, it found breaches of misconduct which led to 3 resignations and also the dismissal of 4 other staff members. The nature of the misconduct was never made clear to the 2011 Charity Commission, which then led to further accusations of a cover-up by Oxfam. These allegations has led to approximately 7,000 people cancelling their regular direct debit donations, which represents 3.5% of direct debit donations. The UK International Development Secretary Penny Mordaunt has suggested that funding could be cut if Oxfam do not begin to show moral leadership. A Guardian poll of over 2,000 people revealed that 35% of those surveyed would be less likely to donate to humanitarian charities like Oxfam after the scandal. Furthermore, of those who said they have already donated, 52% said they would not donate again. Oxfam find themselves in the midst of a crisis because if their government funding is cut, then they could lose nearly 50% of their budget, and this which would lead them to struggle to continue operations. This problem clearly shows there is a lack of trust between the donors and the charity, and this is a completely internal problem. To tackle this issue, we have came up with Operation Oxfam, a 4-point plan to improve, firstly, the transparency of the firm so that donors have a greater trust in Oxfam, which should improve the level of donations. The next stage will involve a complete restructure of the internal structure of the charity. The new chain of command will be centred around the stakeholders, which will improve communication, which again will improve trust. The first 2 stages have to be implemented first, before the third stage of actually implementing Operation Oxfam can begin, as the culture and relationships within the charity has to change before the plan can be implemented, so that they will regain trust, which will enhance motivation and commitment. For this to be achieved, there needs to be a complete overhaul of the structure, culture and communications. Finally, the charity should implement a donor trust due to increased scrutiny from donors and also more scandals occurring. Research suggests that donors place more emphasis on narrative and non-financial performance indicators. The donors' trust would encourage donors to air concerns, and also it is easier for them to put forward their recommendations, which will again improve the relationship between the charity and their donors, which will improve trust and hopefully lead to more donations.
We believe that the proposed solution, Operation Oxfam, will solve Oxfam's problem of a breakdown in trust between stakeholders because of the 3 principal factors. Firstly, the actions are already taken by Oxfam to make fundamental organisational change. Secondly, the desire of the staff for the change. And thirdly, its requirement for future funding. Shortly after the Haiti scandal broke through mass media, Oxfam had to quickly act to not be seen as hiding from their mistakes. In February 2018, Oxfam created a 10-point plan based on safeguarding initiatives to ensure the same mistakes were not made again, including strengthening internal processes, actively engaging with partners in women's rights, and reiterating their commitment to collaborating with authorities. These previously taken actions laid the foundations for Operating Oxfam Strategy, as it shows their organisation's commitment for drastic and often difficult organisational change. The 10-point plan also references the need for cultural change, so this would make the trifecta strategy of cultural, structural and communication change more acceptable for Oxfam's hierarchy. Secondly, the donors and employees are very keen to see an organisational overhaul occur, as they have a high influence and impact on the organisation, as shown in the stakeholder map. Employees are increasingly frustrated with the sexist and toxic methods of handling internal issues at Oxfam, with many turning to whistleblowing to media corporations to vent their frustration, which contributes to the negative communication methods practiced at all levels of Oxfam's hierarchy. With Operation Oxfam tackling this issue directly, employees would be very welcoming for an overhaul of this current culture and structural rigidness. Therefore, it can be concluded that there will be little resistance for the change which would delay it and ruin its eventual implementation. Finally, the requirement of the change to guarantee future funding will make Oxfam fully commit to Operation Oxfam, increasing its likely success. As an NGO, Oxfam requires government funding and donations from general public for its survival, with the UK government halting its funding of Oxfam because of their current practices. Showcasing that they have changed and are committed to not repeating these mistakes are key. This is why the independent watchdog will solve this problem, as the government will be able to set their own parameters for what they expect Oxfam to achieve, as well as removing the bias from analysis since it's not commissioned by Oxfam themselves.
We feel the solutions outlined are feasible for several reasons, and as a result of this, we would highly recommend implementing them in the near future. Already, Oxfam have shown commitment to their 10-point action plan. On the Oxfam website, stakeholders can track the progress made against the plan, showing Oxfam have already begun laying the foundations of change, with 6 significant steps already having been achieved. This is also complementary to the feelings of most stakeholders, most involved with the charity, whether it be the government, donors, business affiliates, or even regulators, will be expecting change to happen within the organisation. Therefore, the usual concerns that would be surrounding or obstructing such a drastic structural change from happening will be subdued. Furthermore, most stakeholders will acknowledge changes that will be made will not be a quick fix. Realistically, the process will be lengthy and will take continual development, i.e., no immediate change will be expected from those stakeholders. This makes the plan more feasible since it is based on a long-term perspective. Finally, the strategy outlined becomes more viable given that little real investment is needed. This is because the strategy proposed does not involve any alteration or acquisition of additional assets, because Oxfam's external operations are sound. Instead, it centres around altering the internal faults. Despite obvious costs occurring from internal restructuring and recruitment, considering its long-term implications, the overall cost still remains relatively low and would be an acceptable cost going forward.